Hello, welcome to the second lesson of linear programming. Okay, so linear programming is a topic that I just introduced, and I mentioned that it is highly used in business to get to know how you can maximize profit or minimize cost. Okay, of course, we are going to see as we progress in the topic how you can develop those models and how it can be done with a combination of factors that are given. All right, so in the second lesson, we want to look at how we can represent the inequalities on the X or Y plane, okay? Or we are looking at graphical representation of linear inequalities, okay? They're given, how do we do that? That is what we want to look at. The channel is here to provide mathematics to you as it comes in the exam. So we are taking you lesson by lesson, step by step. Doesn't matter you were in school some good years ago or you've never been in school and you're beginning. As long as you've got the basic mathematics that you may need. You're coming from somewhere, grade 9, you've got those basics. So please, that is what is expected of you. So let us look at what is expected of us to do. So, we want to illustrate. Please read the question with me because I want to get rid of it. Illustrate the region defined by the inequalities. By the inequalities, like here we have got 1, 2, and 3 inequalities. Illustrate the region defined by the inequalities by shading the unwanted region. By shading the unwanted region. Take note of that. So I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this part. I think even this one I have explained what is involved here. So this is what we are supposed to know. This is what we are supposed to know. Maybe I must get to demonstrate something here. Maybe I must get to demonstrate something on this. If we are able to see this, okay? If you are able to see this. Now, in terms of equations, I just want to show something here. If we have, this is our, this one here, okay? If this is our X or Y plane, then I'm going to put this one as in, this is our X, then this is our Y. So where do we have our 0? We have our 0 here, isn't it? This is our 0, this is our 1, and this is our 2. This is our negative 1 here. Then this is our negative 1 down. This is our negative 2 here. Then this is our 1. This is our 2. Okay. So, in terms of equations, this is what I explained even in the previous lesson. And I do recommend that you go back to lesson 1 before you come to this one, so that you have the maximum benefit of the lesson. So when we want to draw the equation, for instance, if we have this here on 1, in terms of an equation, this is x is equals to 1. X is equals to 1 here. X is equals to 1. This equation here. Okay? X is equals to 1. Now, let me come to this one. My concentration is on this one. For y, we want to start dealing with this one. Y is equals to 2. Because this is an inequality. The inequality is going to be shown when we are shading. But what we are going to take on the graph paper is the equation. So where do we have this y is equals to 2? Y is equals to 2. This is where the equation is supposed to be. Like this is, okay, y is equals to 2 here. This is it. where it's going to be. Then, when we shade, that is when we are going now to apply the inequality part. Okay? That is where we're going to apply the inequality part. Or if I can still do the sketching on the, I think on the board here. So, let me, I don't have a ruler, allow me to use the square here. Okay, so I'm going to say we have, okay, on this side, okay, so this is what we have. Remember, our x, our 0, then we have our x here, and our y is here. So what am I saying? We are saying, we take it that here we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is our 8, this is our 8, this is our 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. So now, I will say, let's look at this one, the first one. This is where we are coming from. I hope you are following me. Why, in terms of an equation, this is y is equals to 2. Y is equals to 2. Where do we have this case? We have it here. This is where we have y is equals to 2. Now, okay, or maybe I'll come and explain later. Okay, I needed to have a dotted line. Why? Because here we just have greater, it's not equal to. So then my line must be dotted, as I emphasized also in the previous lesson. Okay, my line should be dotted here. So now this, in terms of an equation, it is y is equals to 2. Then now what is going to represent the inequality is the shading. We are shading the unwanted region. Remember where we are coming from. We are shading the unwanted region. So we are saying we want where y is greater than 2. This is our y. Greater than 2, where is it? It's greater as we go up, isn't it? So the unwanted region is this region that is down here. This is the region that is unwanted. So we have to shade. We don't want this region. Okay? We do not want that region. I hope you are following me. Then when we go to these, okay, these are inequalities in one variable. Inequalities in one variable, where you just have y or x. Y or x. Now, if you have a combination of two like this, these are what we call inequalities involving two variables, or inequalities in two variables. This one is in one variable, meaning we just have y or x. Now, this one we have a combination of x and y, a combination of x and y. Now, please get to hear what I'm saying. Understand my point. Understand my point. Where you don't have, where you are having challenges, please make sure you comment so that I get to know how best I can be of help to you. But I'm trying as much as I can to make sure that you get my point at once. All right, so here, we have two variables here. We have two variables. So where we have two variables, we need to come up with a set of coordinates. Where we have two variables, we need to come up with a set of what? Coordinates. Where we have two variables, we need to come up with a set of what? Coordinates. Okay. So, this is what I'm talking about. We need to come up with a set of what? Coordinates. Where we have two variables. What am I talking about? We have x variable and y, just like we have here. So for me, I like using what we are given here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember in the exam, they'll give you a graph paper, possibly even the x or y plane will be drawn for you already. Yours will just be doing what we are doing here. Okay. So, where we have two variables, we need to come up with a set of coordinates. So what do? I'm going to say, I'm trying here. Remember the equation that I'm using is what? Y is equals to 3x. This is the equation here. I'm using the equation. So I'm going to say, if x is 0, I'll put 0 here. I'm just trying. You are testing these coordinates here. If x is equals to 0, what will be my y? It is, what this means is that you have y, 3, then where there is x, what are you putting? 0. Then y will also be equal to 0. So y will also be equal to what? 0. Are we together? Then I'll go on and again say, if I just want to get another coordinate somewhere there. Say my 3. If my x is 2, I put 2 here. My x is 2, this 2. What will be my y? My y is going to be 6. Okay? So sometimes, as for me, two coordinates are enough, as long as they're far apart from each other. So we can use these coordinates now to draw this. So we are saying we have 0, 0 for the first one. Then the second one we have got 2, 6. 0, 0 is this point here. We are just sketching. We do not have a graph paper where we can have the proper work. But if you have a graph paper, use a graph paper, you're going to see how the work is going to come out. Even in the exam, the graph paper is given to you there. Then yours will just be to do it. So here we are just doing more of a sketch. Then we have 2, 6. 2, 6, I can put it here. 2, 6. 2, 6, I can put it here. So meaning, I need to join these 2 points with a straight line. I need to join these 2 points with a straight line, considering what I have. So this requires a solid line. So, okay. Okay, so what do I have? I call this line y is equal to 3x. That's the equation. The inequality is the shading part. So how do we shade now? So now we have to shade, we come back to this one. Okay? We come back to this one. We are shading the unwanted region. We are shading the unwanted region. So this one, the less part is what we want. So for these lines like this one, the less part is this part that lies below. So we are going to shade the part that is on top. This is the part that we do not want. So you shade this part. This is the unwanted region. This is the unwanted region. Okay? This is the unwanted region. Are we there? Okay? So we proceed. We proceed. It is the same thing now. I'm coming to the last one. I hope you are following me. I have the equation which is y is equals to 6. Okay? And I said where you have two variables, if you have an equation where you have an inequality where you have x and y, you need to come up with a table of coordinates like this same one that we did. So you have x and y. Then it's a question of testing using these coordinates that we have here. And for me, I have said if I have 2, they are enough. So you can use this thing as it is here, or if you want possibly for easier purposes to just make it simpler, you can make y the subject of the formula. It is going to be like y is equals to 6 minus x. Y is equals to 6 minus x. So we are using these coordinates here to begin to test. So you always start with 0. When x is equals to 0, we are here. When x is equals to 0 here, when you put 0 here, it will be 6 minus 0. Then y is going to be equals to 6. Okay? Y is going to be equals to 6. You can be, from this one you move to 1, but that wastes your time. That's why I'm advising that you use 2 points that are far apart. Okay? Now, there are instances, when you put the x coordinate here, what you are getting is out of the graph paper, the parameters that you've been given. That requires you to come down and use it. What am I saying? For instance, if we're going to use, you just use like a number that is too big here, which is not even here. Or you may use what is here, but it is giving you the corresponding coordinate of y that is not here. Then it means you have to come back and use a smaller one. So now here, we can go and use the other coordinate of y, but another easier method where you have x and y like this, none of them has a coefficient greater than 1. You can also say, if my y is equals to 0, if your y is equals to 0, x will be equals to 6. X will be equals to 6. Now what this means also is that if we said, okay, from 0, let's use y. What is y when x is equals to 6? You put 6 here. You will still get what? 0. Okay? So now, the coordinates that we have here are, the first one is 0, 0,6. 0,6 is this point here. Then the other one is 6,0. 6,0 is this point here. Okay? 6,0 is that point there. So we need to join those 2 points again. We need to join these 2 points. To join these 2 points. Are we together? Again, it's the same thing that I'm talking about. What do I have here? It requires a solid line. So that is a solid line. Now in this case, what are we talking about? Less. So when you have a line like this region is less than this one. So what we don't want is the greater part. So we shade the unwanted region. You shade the unwanted region here. You shade the unwanted region like that. So the question was saying illustrate the region defined. So the region that we want is this one. Clearly, as you have seen, we have a region here. That part is not shaded. So that is the region that gives us the coordinates or the solutions that satisfy our conditions. Where you have a combination, okay? Where you have a combination of resources or factors, you're going to see this is our feasible region. You're going to get to see more as we get to look at questions that directly involve linear programming. All right, so this part is done. This one is done, and I hope you have seen what I did. Okay? Even this one, you can get rid of it. So we're coming to the second one. Again, we do the same thing. We do the same thing even on the second one. We do the same thing. Okay? Y, 0. What do we have? X. Okay? So this is our x. So I said we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 here, isn't it? Then this side we can also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. You can go beyond. So this one, it is here. And look at what we have, the symbol that requires a dotted what? Dotted line. So we are on 8. We have to draw something that is dotted. Here. Okay? Now we need to come and shade. In terms of an equation, this is x is equals to 8. Inequality now we have to shade. We want the part, we are shading the unwanted region. The unwanted region is this region here. Because we want the part that is less than 8. Then there is this, please can we pay attention here? I want to emphasize a point. Can we pay attention to this one? This in terms of an equation, this one, it is equals to what? Y is equals to x. If y coordinate is 0, then x is equals to 0 also. If y coordinate is 1, even x coordinate is 1. If y coordinate is 10, even x coordinate is 10, and vice versa. Even if we say x is equals to y, it will still be the same thing. If x is equals to 0, y is equals to 0. So it moves with these coordinates. So which one is this line? We're saying 0, 0 is here, 1, 1 is here, 2, 2 is here, 3, 3 is here. It goes up to 8, 8. Okay? Let's say 8, 8 is here. So it will go on like that. Okay? There is also another one that you have to pay attention to. If you have an x or y plane like this, this one that I'm talking about goes like this. This is x, y is equals to x. Then there's another one which passes through this point. This one is like y is equals to negative x. These coordinates, when one, they are the same, but the only difference is that when one is a positive, the other one is a negative. That is the difference. There is this other one also here that passes through this point. As we go on into the topic, I'll be emphasizing, but you should be able to recall what I've just mentioned here. All right, so I'll come back to what I just said. We need now to draw. And again, when you look at it, it requires a solid line. So I'll draw. Okay. So this is, in terms of an equation, it's y is equals to x. Y is equals to x. Now, we want the part that is like less. Less is what we want. Okay? The part that is below here, it is less than this one. So we shade what we do not want. This upper part is not wanted. That is what I'm doing here. This upper part is not what? It's not wanted. To shade this. That is the unwanted region. Then we go to the last part. Y is equals to 2. Y is equals to 2. Where do we have y is equals to 2? It is this one here. Again, we need a solid line. Okay? What do we need? Y is equals to, oh, it's negative 2. Sorry. It's negative 2. Okay? It's negative 2. Sorry about that. Okay? It's negative 2. So, let's extend this point coming down here. And this one, we should also have it. And we should also have this point. Okay? So that we have negative 1, then negative 2 here. Negative 2 must be here. Remember that for this line, we are still shading up like this, through going up to even here. Okay? So now, what are we saying? The negative 2, this one, we can also extend it down like this. Okay? That we have this case. So now, I'll come to negative 2. Negative 2, like that question was talking about, negative 2 there. So I'll come to negative 2. It was not talking about. I'll come to negative 2 here and draw a straight line which is solid. So this is y is equals to negative 2. Then it was talking about the greater part. So the unwanted part is this one. So you need to shade this part below. So which region? You have clearly seen the region that we want. It's this whole region from here going up to that point. This is the whole region that we want. This region. That is the region that is defined here. Okay? That is the region that is defined here. I hope that is making sense. Okay? So we go on. And look at the last two. I hope you've gotten the concept, and we're just trying to emphasize the point. Is it clear? Okay, so let's continue. I'll be able to. Okay, let me do the last one. I think they're the same. Let me do the last one. This one, you can easily do it. If you've seen this part, it's also here. Okay, even these two, they are the same as this one. So it's better I look at the last one. This one, you can do it as part of your exercise. So let me do this one. Let me do this one. I do the last one. Okay. I deal with the last one. So the first thing is to draw our x or y plane. Okay. Our x, and then this is our y. Okay. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is here, 10 is the last one. Okay, so we come to this one here. The last one. I want you to pay attention. So the last one, x is equals to 0. X is equals to 0. The x is equals to 0 along the y-axis. X is equals to 0 along the y-axis. This is the x is equals to 0. It's this same line that is going up. Okay? So we are going to shade this same line here. The equation is x is equals to 0, this same line here. So what are we shading? We want what? The greater part. We want this greater part, and we have shaded the unwanted region. Okay? We have shaded the unwanted region. Alright? So, then we come to the y part also. We come to the y part. Okay? Let's come to the y part. The y is equals to 0 along the x-axis. Y is equals to 0 here, and the line is solid. So we are also shading the part that is below. Why? We are saying we want the greater part. This part is greater than what is below. Now I come to this one. X is less or equal to 1 over 2. So I have seen that according to what I have written here, 1 over 2 is going to be between 0 and 1. So that will be too small. So I want to change this so that we have something that is clearer. So I'm going to say, I'll put 1 here. Or let me put 1 here. My 1 should maybe be here. I want to put my 1 here. Are we together? My 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the last one must be 6 there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take note of the regions that we have already shaded. Okay? So now I come to this one. So this is between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1, it's this part here. Okay? It's this part here. So I need to draw a straight line here. For x. This one is talking about what? Less. Okay? What do we want? We want the part that is less. We want the part that is less. That's what this one is talking about. We want what is less than 0.5. 0.5 is the same as 1 over. So where it is less than, it is this side. This going up here, it is greater than. It is greater than half. So this is the part that we are supposed to shade. I hope you are following. Then we have the last one. So pay attention to the last part. The last part I said, where you have two variables, you need to come up with a set of coordinates. That is what I mentioned. You need to come up with a set of coordinates. So you say x and y. When x is equals to, what is it? Oh, this is supposed to be 2. Okay? I like using, when x is equals to 0, I start with 0. Meaning this part is going to die out. This whole part is going to die out here. So when x is equals to 0, it means we're going to have 3y is equals to 6. When x is equals to 0, we're going to have 3y is equals to 6. Then when you divide, you have y is equals to 2 here. Okay? Then you change now to say if y is equals to 0, y is here. If y is equals to 0, I'll put 0 here. It means this part is going to die out. You're going to remain with 2x is equals to 6. So this x is going to be 3. Okay? So what do we have? We have 0, 2. 0, 2, which is this point here. Okay? 0, 2 is this point here. And then the other side we have what? 3, 0. 3, 0 is this point here. 3, 0 is that point there. Okay. Now take note, we need a dotted line. So that's less than. We need a dotted line here. We need a dotted line. Oh, let me hammer one. Just like that. Now look at this. We want the part, the less. Less is this part that is below. So we are supposed to shade the part that is greater here. We shade the part that is greater. And I'm sure you can clearly see the region that has remained here. That it is this part here. This is the part that gives us the solution. This is the part that gives us the solution. Okay? You are always going to have that in the exam. This is the part that gives us the solutions. So you're going to see how we will later on use the coordinates that are found in this region. Okay? So basically, this is what is expected of us to do under this part. And like I did mention that I noticed that even this one, the idea is going to be the same. Here you just need the coordinates, and also here you need the coordinates. This one, it's the same as this line. Okay? You shade. Now here you want what is less than 0. What is less than 0? So you are going to shade the upper part because you want these coordinates here that are less than 0 going down. So this is the same. I've done this one. So basically this is what is expected of us to do, and that is how simple this topic can be. Such questions come in paper 1 and the next one that I'm going to present. Lesson 1, 2, 3, they are very good as we are prepared for paper 2, but they also come in paper 1. Mostly questions like this one and the next lesson to come, they're meant for paper 1. So please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and our culture is that at the end of each exercise we do give questions. So now I'm supposed to give you questions. All right. Question 14. Question 14. Question 28 up to 30. Question 28 up to 30. Just concentrate on how you use the inequalities there. Okay. Just concentrate on the inequalities, the shading part. The maximum and minimum, you'll get to understand those as we go to the other part. Okay, so you've seen D is what we have done as an example. D is what we have done as an example. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. Until next time.